All right, gang, so here we are with comparing and ordering real numbers. This should be a very easy lesson for you. A little bit of calculator work. Follow along in the video here, jot these things down, and then do the homework worksheet and submit that, please, when you're finished. So to compare real numbers, we're going to convert each of them to decimal form. That's the key here. All right. Then what we want to do is make sure that that decimal is rounded to the same place. So if one of them has 4 decimal places, they should all have 4 decimal places. All right, so a fraction, how do we do a fraction? We take the numerator divided by the denominator. So 4 divided by 7 is going to give us the decimal form of that. So 4 divided by 7, on my calculator over here, gives me 0.5714. Okay, how do I do a mixed fraction? Well, I'm going to remember here that I have the whole number 3. So I'm going to do the same process with 5/11ths and add them together. So it's going to be 3 plus whatever that decimal ends up giving me. All right, so what is 5/11ths? Well, 5 divided by 11 gives me 0.454545 repeating. So I have 0.4545. I want to use the same number of decimal places. All right, so this one here would be 3.4545. Okay, 26%. Well, to convert a percent to a decimal, I take the percentage, whatever it is, and I divide it by 100. Okay, so 26 divided by 100 gives me 0.26. If I don't have other decimal places, I can just fill them in with zeros. What about square root? Well, that's just as simple as using the square root button on your calculator. Square root of 8. Okay. So it looks like I typed that in my calculator. And I get 2.8284. The absolute value of 6.4, well, we'll just figure it out. 6.4, right? 0, 0, 0, because I have 4 decimal places. 4 pi, anytime you have pi, you remember you can use the calculator button pi, okay, which is over here on the side, okay, or you can use 3.1415 if you want to, okay, but if I'm going to do 4 times pi, I'm going to do 4 times the second key and then the pi button, and I get 12, this is a calculator problem, and I get 12.5664. And last one here is the bar that we use when we repeat decimals. All that means is that whatever decimals the bar is over top of are the ones that repeat. So in this case, the 4, 7, and 1 all repeat. Okay, so if I was expanding this, it would be 9.4714 is the next one, right? Because I'm doing 4 decimal places. So what kind of problems are you going to get with these on the homework? Well, it's going to be something like this. Convert each of these to decimals, then write them in order from least to greatest, okay? So we're going to figure out what these are as decimals first. So pi squared. Pi, oops, not divided by. I want pi to the second power, okay? And that looks like it's going to be 9.8696. 6.8 already is a decimal, okay? 7 times the square root of 3, I'm going to type that in. 7 times the square root of 3. And that gives me 12.1244. Okay, and then last is 2 pi. So 2 times pi gives me 6.2832. 6.2832. Now, when I put these in order from least to greatest, I want to use the original form of the number, all right, not my decimal forms. So it looks to me like if I'm putting these in order, it looks like the least to greatest. So 6.28232 is the least, then 6.8, then this, and then the 12. So I'm going to write 2 pi, and then I'm going to write 6.8, and then I have pi squared, and finally I finish up with 7 root 3. All right, so same thing here for the next problem, just a little bit, more involved, okay, with each of these conversions. All right, so first one here we have root 5 over 5, so type it in, second root 5. Now you got to make sure you're out of the square root before you put divided by 5. Notice how that the division bar is outside of the square root there on my calculator. I hope you can see that. If I don't do that, if I would do divided by 5 before I get rid of the, right, you see how that's inside. That's different, okay? So I got to be very careful here when I type this in. I want to make sure that I use the arrow key to get out of the square root button and then divide by 5. So here I get 0.4472. 35%, remember, is just 35 divided by 100. So I have 0.3500. Square root of negative 0.4. Remember, square root is numbers distance from 0. So this number here would be 0.4000 from 0. And then this is repeating, so 0.1515. Now, you don't have to use 4 decimal places. That's just what I chose to use. You could have rounded to 2 decimal places. All right, now it's a little trickier here because these are all decimals, all right, to put them in order from least to greatest. So it looks like this one here is going to be first. 0.1 is definitely the smallest, and then I have a 0.3, and then I have a 0.40 or a 0.44. So the 0.40 is smaller, and that's last. So I have 0.15 repeating is my lowest one. And then I have 35% for number 2. And then I have absolute value of negative 0.4 for number 3. And then I have root 5 over 5 last. Okay. And that's really all there is to it. All right. I'll finish this last one here. Okay. 4 2/3. So that's going to be 4 plus. All right. 2/3. Right, so 2/3 is 0.6 repeating, so that's going to be 4.6667. 460% is 460 divided by 100, gives me 4.6. But remember, it's 0, 0, 0 if I'm making 4 decimal places. Square root of 19, okay, gives me 4.3589. 4.3589. And then 13 over pi, just type that in, 13 divided by pi, what do I get? Oh, excuse me, 4.1380. Now, these are all 4s, so it's a little trickier, all right, as far as level of difficulty is concerned. It looks like 4.1 will be the smallest, and then a 4.3, and then a 4.60 is smaller than a 4.66. These are just in reverse order right now. 13 over pi, square root of 19, 460%, and 4 2/3. All right. Okay, last. For which value of x is x divided by 4 greater than the value of root x? Circle the correct answer. So we want this one to be greater. So we just have to guess and check this, okay? So I'm going to put root 5. And I'm going to type in 5 over 4. See which one's greater. So second square root of 5. Okay, gives me 2.236. And then 5 divided by 4 gives me 1.25. All right, so that one's not it. Okay, so I go to the next one. All right, root 10. And then I do 10 over 4. So square root of 10. 10 divided by 4. So I get 3.16, and I get 2.5, and that's not it, right? So I'm looking for this to be true, right? I want that one to be greater. So I go to 15. So I have square root of 15. Oops, let me switch colors there so we know. Different example. So I have square root of 15, and I have 15 over 4. Okay, so square root of 15 gives me 3.87, and then 15 over 4 gives me 3.75. That's a lot closer, but still not greater. So I guess process of elimination, it better be 20, or else there's no right answer here. So square root of 20, and then 20 over 4. Well, 20 over 4 is 5, I'll tell you that. Square root of 20 is hopefully smaller than 5. And it is. It's 4.47. So that will be the winner. Okay. Little guess and check. You'll get problems like that on the Keystone where you can just type them in your calculator and get the right answer. Which inequality comparing the two expressions is true when x is between 0.3 and 0.5? Circle the correct answer. Okay, so we want x to be 0.4. If it's in between 0.3 and 0.5, we're going to call it 0.4. So x equals 0.4. That's important for this problem. Okay, what we need to do is plug 0.4 into each of these problems and see what their decimal is, and then find out which statement's true. Okay, so the square root of 0.4, okay, is 0.632, and then 2 times 0.4 is 0.8. Okay, and then 0.4 squared is 0.16, and then 0.4 divided by 2 is 0.2. All right, so we got to figure out which statement here is true. So is x squared, and so that's 0.16, is that greater than 0.632? No, that one would not be greater, right? Okay, let's try the next one. So is x over 2, which is 0.2, is that less than x squared, which is 0.16? No, 0.2 is not less than 0.16, so that one is not it. Okay, then we go to the next one. 2x, we said, is 0.8. Is that less than 0.632, which is the square root of x? And once again, we get to the last one. Hopefully it's correct. It says that 0.632 is greater than 0.2, and that would be true. Okay? Now, you might have picked that up without going through each example, but those are the types of problems you're going to see on the practice worksheet. Please complete that and submit it today before you leave. Thank you.